welcome to the Kayfabe Soup FunHouse. I am your ground producer Junior. I am joined today by Argyle, PBR, and intern. Uh, this week we're pretty much gonna not talk about Raw or SmackDown. We're just gonna get into other things that's been going on in wrestling. But would you guys like to say hello?
Hi.
Yowie, wowie, we're gonna have so much fun today.
What's up, guys? Argyle here, your resident heartbroken Utah Jazz fan, podcasting on a Wednesday night after a tough loss. So Argyle has lost his smile officially.
This is why I'm glad. This is why I'm glad I don't watch scripted sports. I only watch real things like pro wrestling.
I wish we had like a bomb sound effect right there. That would have been perfect.
I don't know. I still remember when Argyle was upset about the Ravens losing.
Yeah, I got no words, man. I'm heartbroken tonight. I had it all on the line tonight, man. Season's over.
I mean,
I wish I could say that. I mean, what the intern said here about it being not scripted, but if you watch these games, especially Houston Rocket games, you could pretty much see how scripted it is watching James Harden play.
Oh, yeah.
I would weigh in with a comment, but I am not a basketball person. I should be. My Milwaukee Bucks are, they're doing good basketball things, but I can't. I just can't do it. Basketball does nothing for me.
Yeah,
we have the Toronto Raptors in my country. Enough said.
I would kill to have either the Raptors or the Bucks as my team right now. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Anyway, GRJ, you said that we are not talking about Raw or SmackDown.
Nah. What happened? Honestly, the only things that we will talk about is Bray Wyatt and pretty much the superstar shakeup that Fox decided to have. But we'll get into that in a little bit. We're gonna start off with a possible CM Punk sighting. He showed up at a indie promotion.
Allegedly,
yes, everything's gonna be in quotes here. Under a mask. There's been rumors that he's done plenty of times before, or not plenty of times, maybe like once or twice, that he's done it before, where he shows up at indie promotion. That's what he wants to do from now on. I don't believe that was. But once this came out and people were saying it's him, even people brought up like an interview of him saying like, if this is how I would show up like later on, and people are like tagging that to further the proof. Yeah, I don't believe it was him. I've been getting in a couple discussions with Habes. He believes it's him. I don't.
I think the easy way to tell for anyone that was there would just be to offer to buy him a drink. He says yes, we know it's not CM Punk.
My 2 cents on the whole thing are, I don't believe it was him. If it turned out that it was, like he came out and was like, "Yep, that was me," I wouldn't be shocked. The promotion, the location, the significance of the event in question would make sense for if it was going to be one of his rare appearances or what have you.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me, but my problem with the whole thing is I wish people would let it go. I mean, it's been 5 years. He said so many times that he had no interest in coming back to professional wrestling. And I mean, at this point, I'm over him. Like, everything he did in the ring was great. He was a great wrestler, but dude, you got to move on at some point. Some people just are just wishing and wishing and wishing he would come back like some sort of savior, and a second city savior, as it were. And I just, I don't really care that much. But if it was him, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My big thing too is I know how the wrestling industry operates. I know Silas Young, the owner of the indie promotion in question, dropped kind of subtle hints on Twitter saying it's some punk, all uppercase, made a run in, ha ha ha. But let's face it, if it was really CM Punk, there would be at least 12 people within that promotion that would have blabbed it or leaked it or done something to ruin the mystique for everyone, because that's the way the wrestling industry operates.
That's basically the extent of like what we have, right, for evidence is just that tweet that a Punk ran. That's all the speculation that we're going is off of that.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent, even caring if that is Punk or not. I do know that GTS thing, something I can't say on this podcast.
Also, in other words, maybe it was Punk.
What's that?
I said maybe that means it was Punk. His GTS always looked kind of garbage compared to compared to Kenta.
I was funny enough. I was at a long conversation just about that, and just like, man, that when it's done well, it just looks so devastating.
Or for Brian Kendrick, it is devastating.
Yeah, that's true.
Busted his eye socket.
But every time that it's not hit, or I don't know, the camera's not in the right place, it looks like crap.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Well, the only way to lay it in real snug is to like legitimately risk messing up somebody's eye socket, like Brian Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I do know, and what I mean, I guess I do have a strong take on, is that if and when Punk ever were to make his presence in professional wrestling, it definitely shouldn't be in a spotlight. I know that we have all the rumors and innuendos about AEW had interest in Punk, and if there's ever a time for Punk to ever come back, it should probably be at like a Double or Nothing or something huge.
True, but I do believe Silas Young was a friend of his from the Ring of Honor days, so it could have just been him doing a favor.
Yeah. I get that. I've got all that. I'm just that impact, because I mean that got us buzzing. I mean, just imagine his first, appearance back would have been something on a bigger stage.
Well, I think you could still get that, Well, if he shows up under mask here and there just doing somebody a favor, it's one thing. But I think Argyle's right, where if he were ever to come back without a mask and like make an actual official CM Punk return, it would have to be at a major event, something like a Double or Nothing or All or Nothing, whatever they're called.
But we're all in agreement that he's never coming back to WWE, right?
Oh yes. God no, he's
for
not.
Sure.
Does anybody not a chance.
Off the top of their head, what's the date for Double or Nothing?
May. It's the Saturday after Money in the Bank,
okay,
so that would be the 25th.
Yeah.
25th of May.
Okay. Do they have anything booked after Double or Nothing up until their TV deal?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Wouldn't that be such a crazy spot for him to come out like at the very end?
Oh yeah, that would be huge.
After the match, in a stare down, just to say I'm coming for that title, and just leave it at that, and then you have all this anticipation for them coming into their show, whenever that's going to drop in October or whenever we speculate that.
That would be the way to do it.
As a cliffhanger.
Like if you're to bring in Punk, like where do you go with that?
I'd have him feud with Omega. I mean,
have him feud with literally anybody. The name value alone would bring a lot of eyeballs to your product.
Do you give him the title? Do you not give him the title? Do you let him go through your roster and destroy everybody? Because I don't honestly see CM Punk coming back and being like, hey, I need you to put this guy over. I don't see that.
No, I think if somebody like an AEW were to bring him in, it would be almost like Brock Lesnar in WWE. It's not like he would be out there, wrestling several times a week. He'd have like a Chris Jericho schedule. You get just a few matches a year, all of them set up a whole months of build to this big match on occasion. And so he wouldn't really have to go through a roster. It'd really be like Argyle mentioned Kenny Omega or, any of those big names. You could build that for months and months and just have that one big blow off match. And, maybe you give him the title and then a few months down the line, he drops it to somebody.
But like, okay, other than Kenny Omega, who else is there?
Jericho.
I wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, let's say we've already seen that several times.
Yeah, that doesn't interest me. Like I love Jericho. That doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah,
And
we've
then
seen it several times, but have we seen it with both guys in their 40s? Huh?
Or
No,
Cody,
what the-
or against Cody in the position that he is.
yeah.
He's more of a higher
that-
level star than he has ever been.
Heck, if I was gonna see, if I was gonna want to see CM Punk against anyone in their 40s, it would be Goldust. I mean Dustin.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
just Dustin now.
right. I
Yeah.
forgot about him. Yeah, so Goldust leave. Or I think the bigger thing here is WWE not even acknowledging that he.
Yeah.
Look, to Dustin's credit, like he did write a really good post to say goodbye to the fans and everything. But it is kind of weird that WWE didn't acknowledge.
Yeah, that's what I thought was weird. But yeah, I saw the goodbye he said, and it was very well done. There was nothing that could be taken the wrong way. So I don't know. So yeah, CM Punk. What could we talk about next? Let's talk about the other big story going on. Bray Wyatt. How could somebody that actually watched SmackDown describe what's going on with Bray Wyatt?
I don't know if I have all the words of the English language that I could properly describe what's happening with him, but I shall do my best. So basically, if you've been watching over the past few weeks, we've seen to build up to Bray returning with a new gimmick. We got the fake puppet buzzard head coming out of the box, and the week after that, we got the creepy dollhouse with the Sister Abigail doll. So then we get a vignette this week appearing on both shows. It looks like a children's programming called Firefly Funhouse. And the best way I could put it is it's Bray Wyatt as Satanic Mr. Rogers. He's cutting a kids show, but with these extremely dark undertones. He cuts a cardboard cutout of himself in two with a chainsaw.
That was awesome.
The aforementioned dolls, Mercy the Buzzard and Abby the Witch, were there. It is incredible, and I really can't wait to see where this thing goes. And I wish I could trust the WWE to not screw this up.
Yeah. Okay. So you brought up Mr. I've seen memes about this. That's pretty much all I know from it. A lot of the memes have like the Blue's Clues background with Steve or Mr. Rogers. But when I see the pictures and when I think FunHouse, how is Pee Wee not brought up in this conversation?
Yeah, that was Pee Wee Herman was my original thought too. It was just the kind of the red sweater and the puppet like the king that made me go to Mr. Rogers. But definitely if he gets a few more wacky thought up on LSD friends, Pee Wee Herman would definitely come to mind. And in fact, Brandon Stroud from Uprocks actually had a great comment where he referred to it as what was it again? Pee Wee's Bray House.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. As if he's going the Pee Wee route, I hope we get like a word of the day where he just goes crazy when somebody's.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Loud. That's the word of the day.
Yeah, and then he just goes berserker on everybody.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where it goes. I really enjoy it. I'm biased because I'm a huge Bray Wyatt mark to be. And all I wanted was a repackaged Bray, and I've got that. And now it's just going to be wait and see what they do with it. I hope that it's at the very least they continue the vignettes on a weekly basis for a little while. Just keep giving us some more of the character. I'm curious to see how that character will translate to a live performance because it's very kind of dependent on the pre-taped nature of it, the whole TV show aspect. So I'm curious to see what happens the first time they run him out in front of a live crowd doing that. But I can't wait for it, and I hope for the best. Love Bray Wyatt. I love this direction. Kind of reminds me of Matt Bourne's Doink before it got really goofy, super new gen era E. But yeah, I'm into it. See where.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic for this character as well. I mean, obviously they're gonna lead it down a darker path, episode by which I mean, at least me, I've got all the faith in the world in Bray Wyatt to execute that very well. I think we all agree, creative wise, maybe not so much, but at least the character Bray Wyatt, we know he's going to try to hit a home run with it.
I mean, he's already even just in like this one vignette, he's already performing that with such conviction. He sounds like he's committed to it and also having fun with it at the same time, which I think was a big part of what turned me around to it and made me go, nope, I love this.
Yeah, and so for everyone that's just seen just the memes of it or the pictures of it, I think just at the surface, it's not what it seems to be. At least in the immediate when you first turn it on. I think this story is actually going to get pretty dark, at least.
Yeah, I think a lot of the instant reaction is people just knee-jerk reaction to just what it looks like, not paying any attention to the content or anything. Just, what do they got him doing, a kids show now? God, modern WWE is so stupid.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
and for anybody listening to this that's completely bearing this segment, I'll have just looking at WWE's YouTube and the videos that they have, this is the Bray Wyatt segment this week was the most watched or most viewed video that WWE has on their YouTube. Right now, Wednesday night, it's at 2.3 million views, and no other video this week is even to touching.
That's what Raw averaged for viewers this week. I'm not even lying. It was like an average of 2.36 or something like that.
That's right. Yeah. So at the very least, Bray is killing it on YouTube. At the very least, my biggest question for this segment.
You're like really putting that
up. My biggest question, I guess, is what is he wrestling? What's his in-ring attire? Is it that sweat?
I hope so. I hope that he wrestles. Look, I hope that when he first comes out in front of a live crowd, that he looks exactly like he did in the vignette. And I don't know if you guys notice this, but like there's an element of the way he looks in the vignette. There's a bit of an element of when Bo Dallas used to come out doing the Bo Leave shtick. Like he's got that goofy, totally insincere smile going on, but with Bray, there's more of a hint of evil to it. And he's never looked more like his brother than he does now.
Especially not where he's lost a bunch of weight too.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for intern.
Sure.
Name me one person in the world right now that does a better Uranagi than Bray Wyatt.
Samoa Joe's about the only one I could think of, and even then, I don't think it's quite as good.
Yeah, my first thought was Samoa Joe, but yeah, I think Bray Wyatt's his best.
I'm a huge fan of that move from Bray Wyatt. Joe's is awesome when he's yelling in it. Yeah. He's yelling at his opponent. We're like, sit your dumb ass down.
Yes.
That's when Joe's is.
I still remember when we were geeking out over that freaking video when he did that. I think I remember. I watched it a couple of times.
I literally just searched that today. I was like, I need to watch it. To Google Samoa Joe, sit your ass down. Yes. the videos come right up.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on to the next little segment that we have here, PBR.
Yep.
Could you tell us about the fantasy wrestling?
Fantasy wrestling, I think I can do that. We have, if you haven't been seeing the posts about it, over on our Patreon, we've got season 1 of the Kayfabe Soup Fantasy Wrestling coming up. There's 3 leagues for season 1. Each of them has 7 people, all 6 of us, as well as 15 of our patrons who joined up. All of them are awesome. And the reason we're talking about that right now is because the drafts are coming up this weekend. So reminder, if you're one of the people that have signed up for season 1, your drafts are coming up either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I sent all of the people in it the sheet. What's going to happen is when these matchups are going on, I'm going to be posting publicly the matches and everything about it, so that all of the people who aren't part of it, can see how it works, how it's going, all the fun people are having, and then get signed up for season 2. The seasons are only 10 weeks long, so season 2 is going to be starting right away in July, and season 3, season 4 is going to end a little bit before WrestleMania. And when we get closer to that, I'll go into the detail of all the crazy fun with the prizes and the season winners and all this stuff. But I do want to, what was I gonna, I can't find my notes now. This is what I do. Point is,
first draft is Friday, right?
First draft is Friday. For the sake of the people on this show right now, Argyle and GRJ, that's your
What time is that, John? Friday?
The drafts I want to do, they're at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. That's a little flexible based on availability, but your Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, all of them at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. The Friday night one, besides Argyle and Caton Gerke, Kevin Golden, Joshua Newberry, Richard Corrigan, and Scott Ludwig. On Saturday night, myself and intern will be in that draft along with Caleb Hopwood, Bradley D. Lineback, Katie Bluell, Lindsey Johnson, and Stephen Calhoun. And on Sunday night, that's the Gordy League. I named these leagues after the fabulous Freebird because it works out great because there were 3 of them and there's, 3 leagues. Yeah. And Sunday, the Buddy Roberts League. Dun, 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 dun.
Did you like
that would be Habes, Jabarella, John LaDalia, Dylan Bonacci, Matthew Gibson, Brandon Hilt, and Jesse Sutherland. So all those names are the super awesome, super cool people that have signed up on Patreon with us already to do that. And like I said, keep an eye out for that. All of you people who didn't sign up, because you're going to see how awesome it is and you're going to want to be a part of it for season 2 when that comes out.
By the way, I appreciate that for the league names. You went with the classic Freebirds and not like the Jimmy Jam Garvin version or, heaven forbid, the Bradstreet version.
Well, you just wait until, if we can get enough people in season 2 to have 4 leagues, obviously I'll be going with a 4 horsemen. And then it's going to be a real debate as to which 4 horsemen, to go with. Spoiler alert, it would be the real one. But, there's a lot of options
Roma
there,
one.
too. Oh, yeah, totally. Was there any other?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah, that's what But
Okay,
yep, that's going to be super awesome. And then that starts May 13th is the week 1 of the fantasy wrestling season. So after that, all you people out there thinking about Patreon, keep an eye out on that and on our predictions game, which I imagine we'll touch on a little later.
Yeah, one thing I feel you left out was the create a superstar.
Did you want to get into the create a superstar now, or should we do some more news?
Get right into it, man.
Sure, why not? First of all, for those of you that saw the post, how'd you like my use of the creation of Kevin?
I loved
so
it.
Good.
I
So
thought
perfect.
it was perfect. Create a superstar. I know we've been talking about it in a lot of our posts for like the last month, and I finally got around to actually posting the form. For season 4 of the predictions game on Patreon, instead of just being your name and you're matched up against another name, you're actually going to create your own superstar, your own character, your own persona. And we've got storylines for everybody. You get a storyline, you get a storyline, and so on and so forth. Everything's going to be more kind of like an e-fed where you can influence things, you can cut promos, you can really get hands-on and get involved more so than just, hey, once a month make some predictions and see what happens. And I do want to thank the Create a Superstar forum has only been out for a couple, and we've already got Brian Smith, Joshua Newberry, Caton Gerke, and Richard Corrigan jumping in there and getting their superstars created. I haven't yet. None of us have. So props to those guys for being
Wait.
more on the ball than us there.
No, I was gonna ask you, is that extended to the admins, or am I stuck as Grand Reducer Junior?
But I say we can create superstars. I mean, personally, in my opinion, PBR is a superstar. So I don't really need to create a new.
Oh my god!
Well, you still have to assign yourself moves and that.
That's right. I have to give PBR more of a character than just a name that doesn't stand for anything. Although I'm starting to think the P in PBR is going to stand for Patreon before.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so those 4 are already in there. We've got a dozen other people on Patreon that should get in there. I also want to point out, just in case they're listening, what do we got here? Rashad Tyson, Drew Saletta, Brenton Cooper also have filled out the form. They're not on Patreon, but I want to point them out because that form, hey, if you're thinking about joining, you're thinking about maybe joining down the road, whatever, create a superstar anyway.
Yeah, get the legwork done.
Yeah, even if you're just going to play the Facebook one where it doesn't matter, I've still got it in the system here. So if you join us on Patreon down the road, even 4 or 5 months from now, your superstar's in here and ready to go as soon as you are. So by all means, everybody jump on that. I'm going to go ahead and pin that create a superstar back up at the top of our Facebook page. So just go to our Facebook page, Kayfabe Soup, and find it. Fill out your form and create your own superstar.
Don't follow our lead because we've been too lazy.
Yeah, especially me. I made the form, I don't know, a month ago, like when we were first talking about it, and I just finally got around to post.
Dude, honestly, I didn't know we were allowed. I didn't think that was for us. I thought it was just for the superstars.
Well, the superstars have to. But
no, yeah, but I thought it was just for them. I thought we're gonna be our admin selves, but
PBR is a superstar. You didn't hear?
Exactly. That's my new chant. PBR is a superstar. See, it works out perfectly. That's a catchphrase. I'm gonna put it in the form.
I don't think people have enough brain cells to keep that chant.
I'm getting it over. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and get people to start chanting it. I'll post it.
Oh, I want to see it.
I only work with 2 other people. It'll be easy.
There you go.
All right, that was some great info on what's going on Patreon. Next topic we could talk about is Daniel Bryan actually in? Anybody started on that?
I'm gonna start by saying yes, and I'm terribly sad about it.
Same. If it's true, I am. Yeah, it's kind of scary what's going on right now because of how they kept him out for so long. Finally, let him back, and we're back here. And the fact that there's nothing coming out of WWE, they're keeping their mouth shut very well because we don't get that a lot.
That's the part that makes it concerning. Normal run-of-the-mill injuries are, they're quick to point it out because they want people to know, like, hey, this person's going to miss a little time. They got to go get their knee fixed or whatever. And the fact that they haven't said anything, but they have pulled him off of all the live shows. The one I went to in Madison last weekend, he was supposed to be at that one, but he's been off the road since WrestleMania. No explanation whatsoever. And, you don't want to be overly pessimistic, but it's hard to be optimistic given his history and WWE's history when it comes to what they report and what they don't report. And pulling someone off the road without specifying, it's 2015 all over again, where he got pulled off the European tour and they didn't say why, and it turned out to be concussions. So
yeah, I don't want to have to sit through another retirement speech, so I really, really hope that this collective but very well-deserved pessimism is completely off base. God, do I hope that.
Yeah, I'd love to be wrong here. I've never wanted to be wrong more in my life than I do about that, because not only was his story so great about coming back from all of those injuries, but he came back, and when he turned heel, he was arguably at the top of his game. He had been his heel work over the last 6 months has been some of the best work.
Not to mention, he's deprived me of my opportunity to discuss the various Rowan metal shirts.
Now,
Oh my
I will
God.
say, I don't know. I don't know how much it'll translate to TV, but you'll be glad to know that at the Madison Live event last weekend, Rowan did have a singles match. So there's that. I believe he beat Mustafa. Oh, I'm sorry, just Ali. But he
Ooh,
was
but-
wearing a creator.
Oh, nice. We have already seen that on SmackDown, but I'll take it.
Well, he's not
Do
going
we
to
know
break
which
out
album?
new shirts on a house show.
No, anything?
What did
What
you
was that? I
say?
didn't hear. Sorry.
I'm like, do we know which album?
That's the important thing.
I
That is
assure you
important.
that
Oh my
I do.
God. Okay.
I've got a question. Can I bring up a question, GRJ?
You just did.
Yeah, that's it.
I get.
Do you want another
it's
one?
A statement. I have one. I have one
What's
to
up?
bring up. So, because it's kind of been bugging me lately. But okay, so basically, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, right? Baseball.
Ooh.
Kind of our business model here for the last few years has been that we've like to sign some veterans, I guess, well, to say it nicely, some veterans at the tail end of their careers, with maybe an only 2 to 3 to 4 more careers max or years left in their career. And it's not working out very well. All the players that the Giants have signed the last couple of years have all been showing their age, from McCutcheon to Longoria, and so on. It's not working out. That being said, I know what that feels like, and the more and more that goes on, the weeks go by, I'm starting to feel as if the WWE is the Giants that signed Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm really hoping that that's not the case, but I can't help but feel as if that is the Shinsuke that we signed. Now, someone talk me off the ledge here, and tell me that this isn't the case. But that's the feeling that I'm getting, is that the Shinsuke that we all wanted and that we signed to our team is just hasn't worked out, or it just isn't that person that we were hoping.
Well,
I
we know that
will.
person
I
was
no.
there.
I will talk. Yeah, I'll talk you right off the ledge because I think Shinsuke is still just as good. Like physically, he can still do a ton, but the types of matches that they'll let him have and the creative that he's been put through since they brought him up from NXT have done him no favors.
Yeah.
I think physically he could still be putting on the great matches that we saw in New Japan before he came over. It's just the WWE style and the WWE creative are really the problems with him. Just like Rey Mysterio is in the best shape of his life, but you wouldn't know it watching his matches on TV. They're not giving him anything to work with, and they're not giving him marquee opportunities. And I think that's more of an indictment on the bookers and creative than it is on the physical capabilities.
And probably in a lot of cases, the road agents that help them structure the match.
Yeah,
That makes sense. And yeah, creative wise, they're doing him no favors. I'm just thinking back at it now, and I'm just hard pressed to find that, like, not even just a classic, but just any great Shinsuke match since his NXT match with Sam. Like, I'm going back in the memory bank, and I'm just hard pressed.
I honestly think he's not there. I
you
think
think it's
he's
a
checked
Shinsuke
out.
thing?
No, I think he's just checked out.
Oh,
Yeah.
He had a great NXT, and then you guys are right. He goes up to the main roster. They have him on this pedestal. They let him win the Rumble, and then nothing.
Yeah, but even before that, though, they put him on a pedestal. They put him over verbally, the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then they have him doing 50-50 matches with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
where he's getting overwhelmed for more than 50% of the match and just looks like a normal guy. I'd have checked out if I were him,
Exactly.
him as well.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Once his contract expires, he's done mentally with WWE. He's gonna go back to New Japan, obviously, and he's gonna have maybe 2 to 3 years. And right there, that's we'll get to see this Shinsuke that we've wanted to see at on Raw. I mean, on SmackDown. But yeah, we're not gonna get that in WWE.
Yeah, I think the closest the last or the closest they came and the last opportunity, and maybe the point where if you go frame by frame, you could see the exact moment that his heart breaks is during that Shinsuke AJ Styles feud, which had so much potential, and they never pulled the trigger on putting him over. Even not even necessarily putting the title on him, but just even making him look good. You could, if you took that series of matches they had last year, you could probably put together a 15-minute match that's good, but it was spread out over the course of like 4 pay-per-views, where they had the draw in this match, they had the draw in this match, Styles won this match. There was just, it was so one-sided, but it still dragged on for so long that I think that really just killed whatever sense of credibility they thought he had.
Wrong.
And since then, they haven't been.
It Testa killed it in the case of that feud.
First of all, I will say this though, that the shot that AJ Styles gave him at the end of the Last Man Standing match that's one of the stiffest crotch kicks I've ever seen in my life, and it was awesome.
Do we think that the language barrier is an issue for Shinsuke? That he don't speak English? Is that
only when they write promos for him that are overly verbose or that he doesn't understand? If they let him, I've seen him or heard him do interviews. He did Jericho's podcast, for instance, and he speaks much better English than you'd think when he's speaking in his own words.
Yeah, I'm like that. Thank you for bringing up the podcast, the Jericho one, because I'm like, I've heard this guy speak English a lot better than I thought he spoke. And like that, it goes straight back to the writers. They're just giving them that stupid "I speak no English" crap.
Yeah. And I mean, and even when they're like before that, when he was a babyface, he probably had to focus so much on just remembering the utter rubbish they gave him to recite that it's hard to actually translate and convey that.
Well, look at what they're doing with freaking Ronda Rousey. She speaks perfect English, and then her freaking things come out horrible. Yet she talks in other medias, and she comes off as fine.
I was just saying it earlier in our chat. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11 a little bit, where she plays Sonya Blade, and she enunciates perfectly in that game, playing the role. She emotes. She doesn't sound like female Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
By the way, when people complain of AJ, people don't like Nakamura because he don't talk no good English. Ahmed Johnson is who I cite because fans love the crap out of him, and I'm pretty sure my cat speaks more English than he did. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. How did we get into Shinsuke?
Oh, I got a question.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm like, how did we segue into that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter for now.
How about Kevin Owens turning on Kofi Kingston?
We knew it was gonna happen next. We knew it was gonna happen. Depending on the time,
I did not know that was going. I couldn't say it with a straight face.
I think we all knew it was going to happen. I was hoping it would take longer, just because I mean, Kevin Owens is awesome, no matter whether he's a babyface or a heel. You put a microphone in his hand, he's going to be entertaining. It's not like it's a bad idea to turn him heel, but I was really enjoying goofy, fun Kevin Owens. Didn't have to be Big O, honorary New Day, all that. Like just babyface, everyman Kevin Owens. I loved that. I wanted more of it. But whatever, as long as he's on TV and talking into a microphone, I'll be ahead.
I also think it's a classic case of WWE rushed storytelling to get that instant gratification. It's like, you know, those the many cases where when you see like vehicular destruction happen, how it's usually just like, oh, here's this car that I suddenly love, even though I've never talked about it before and it's only appeared on this episode. Oh no, my car got destroyed. We as fans don't have time to emotionally connect with that. Likewise, I don't think we really had enough time to properly connect with Owens as a member of the New Day. At least not as much as I would have liked. It still worked. I'm so glad it happened, but I would have liked more time to really build that rapport between him and the New Day to make it that much more emotionally impactful.
Yeah, when that first happened, I wanted. I had two options, or I had two opinions on it. I'm either let it run for a couple months, or I thought it was gonna be like, all right, they're letting him do this because he's in his hometown. Let him have be cheer. Let him have his little moment. Once we're out of that spot, he's turning, and that's pretty much what it is.
I would have let that thing go to next WrestleMania and have him booked against Big E at next WrestleMania. I would have had it gone really long.
I don't know if it needed to go that far, but I'm with you on the Big E part of it. It would have been great still being Big O and all that when Big E came back from his injury.
That's really what I wanted more than anything.
And then you get like a temporary, four-man New Day with dissension between Big O and Big E, and you have a whole lot of storyline opportunities there, and you have a ready-made, awesome. It doesn't even matter who's the face and who's the heel. Kevin Owens and Big E would make a great match. So I'm with you on that one. I don't know if it would have taken all the way to WrestleMania, but it would have been great if he was still doing the New Day thing when Big E comes.
I do have one thing to put over WWE, I guess, if we can, with the Kevin Owens turn, and that is him taking out Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
So as rushed as it is, at least that adds a little story to it. That Kofi doesn't have Big E anymore. Now he doesn't have Xavier Woods. Now it's all.
Yep.
It really is just all.
That was brilliant.
So
and the way Woods sold that apron power bomb like his spine snapped into was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's such a wicked move. Like it wouldn't surprise me if it did break his spine.
It is the hardest part of the ring.
When's the next pay-per-view?
May 19th.
Okay, I honestly think that attack happened too quickly, where Xavier Woods could show up at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't help also but think that maybe that they had called an audible on this turn, and that having to do with Daniel Bryan's, and then just basically slotting in Kevin Owens into where Daniel Bryan would be here, because of Bryan being out.
I can see that.
That's
ironic.
That's a really good.
That would be ironic considering Kofi Kingston got all of that momentum by being slotted into the spot that Mustafa Ali was supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, so I don't think that maybe they wanted to do that, but yeah, I could see that happening, that they had called an audible, and which I guess adds on to that Bryan probably really is way more hurt than we know.
I didn't even think of that. That's really good.
And now I'm depressed.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what we need? We need an uplifting story. Hit us with that Sasha Banks maybe leave.
Yes. All right. So obviously, this is all rumors. There's nothing to confirm or deny any of it. Sasha Banks still upset over losing the titles. One thing I do want to throw out is that she did. I think there was a picture of her after losing the titles with the Iconics, so she's not mad at them because I'm happy that she's smart enough to know that it's not their fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's still upset at Creative. She thought that her and Bayley flighted the moon with these titles. They were cut short. Bayley's on SmackDown now. Sasha's at home. They told her not to come back, but to take a vacation, relax, and then whenever you're ready. Now it's came out that she's probably thinking of sitting out her contract, which happened with Neville. I think the problem here also with that is not knowing how much on the contract she has, and it doesn't really matter because when you're sitting out, WWE does have the reason to freeze your contract and extend it. So
Yeah, ask Rey Mysterio about that.
yeah, if she just has like 3 years, we're not gonna see her in Independence for another maybe 5, because if they're gonna add time to it.
That's good news for the health of everybody in.
And including Sasha too. So she can't injure herself. She's not wrestling.
Oh, could I bring up the GIF again? Botcha Banks. It's over 200. It's at over 200 already.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, that's what's going on with Sasha. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a work? Do you think she's
it's
really pissed?
I think she's really mad, but I also think that it's stupid for her to be really, because of two things. Number one, forever and ever, she and Bailey are going to be the first. Well, I mean, not the first, but the first in this women's tag team title, the first champions.
Yep.
That's never getting taken away from them, whether they were champions for 2 days or 2 years. The other thing is, it's really weird for her to be complaining about short title reigns. Unless my memory deceives me, she's like a 4-time Raw Women's Champion and has never once successfully defended it, because she always lost the title like the first match after she won it.
Yep.
So it's not like she has this history of long title reigns. It's not like she's a stranger to short title reigns. It's just really bizarre that she would be this upset just because she had to drop the titles at WrestleMania. And that's the case, I feel like there has to be something more to it, because it seems like a really stupid reason to be this angry on the surface. We don't know all the details, but at least on the surface, it seems stupid.
And another point, if she, if the word on the street is that, she said she and Bailey wanted to make those titles prestigious. Sasha, have you seen how the men's tag titles are being treated?
Yeah.
What makes you think your titles would be any different?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Vince hates tag teams.
Yeah, I honestly
Damn, pal,
think
gotta pay 2 people for 1 match.
yeah, I honestly think they have enough people to just have a trios instead of the freaking tag.
Yeah.
But that's just me and the freaking Mexican wrestling side, or the international wrestling side of tags. Sasha Banks. What about yeah, I like I said, I'm just happy she knows who to be upset with if she's actually upset. If it's a storyline, good, but also when she gets back to Raw, she doesn't really have that much to go against. Because is there another top heel?
Lacey Evans.
I think it's just Lacey Evans, because Nia Jax is getting knee surgery. She'll Mickey James is awesome, but she's never used.
Alicia Fox can barely take 12 steps without falling down.
Yeah.
I love
so
it,
if
Meg.
she comes back and they do turn her to heel, it'd be perfect for her. But
that's honestly the only way I like Sasha, is when she's a heel.
Yeah. Babyface Sasha doesn't work. It's like babyface Charlotte. Charlotte's born to be a heel, and Sasha's the same.
That's why she should have won at WrestleMania.
That's what she would say anyway.
No, you want her to be the perfect heel. That's like Roman level heat right there.
Are we talking about Sasha or Charlotte?
Charlotte, I'm sorry. You brought up Charlotte, and I'm like, I could talk about her forever. Let's do that.
That's right. I figured it was only a matter of time before you brought up Charlotte, since I crushed your hopes and dreams earlier.
Okay, you want to bring that right back up?
I don't know. You're a couple thousand miles away, so you can't hit me.
What was it? I didn't even get to check the rumors of.
Yeah, the rumor that Andrade and Charlotte are engaged. Just a rumor, so far as I know. So don't get too worried.
Yeah,
for Charlotte.
Right.
My man Andrade.
I don't see it working. How can you take the last name of someone that doesn't have a last?
Well, that neither of them have last names.
Well, she
So
still has Flair in her.
what if
her
they just took each other's, like, they just combined names in general? So, like, she would be Charlotte Andrade and he would be Andrade Charlotte.
Or he becomes a Flair.
Andrade Flair.
Good for Andrade.
That flows right off the tongue. That's a good name.
The Andrade Flair experience.
Okay, that's the perfect segue. So talking about a different where are they now? The Viking. There was Viking experience, and now Viking Raider. Oh
Well,
wait,
you
no.
could go through the whole history when they were originally War Machine in Ring of Honor, and then they came to NXT and they were the War Raiders.
Yeah.
And then as NXT Tag Team Champions, the War Raiders, they debuted on Raw as the Viking Experience, which we all had a ton of fun with, and rightfully so. And then now this week they were the, and now
Viking
I've already
Raiders.
lost track, the Viking Raiders. And then there was some fan survey thing that went out asking people what they thought like was the best or what their favorite, move in the shakeup. And they were listed there as the Viking Warrior. So who knows what they're going to be called next week?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping if they come out next week as Viking Warriors, it's just a thing. They're like, you know what? We're just switching you every week, and then eventually they're gonna start sending the wrong wrestlers up.
I can't wait. I can't wait for them to become the Ultimate Warriors.
Oh yeah, there you go.
No.
Now I'm picturing them all painted up and like running to the ring and shaking the rope.
And I pray to the Norse gods to fill the rocket ship with the fuel. Now I want that to happen so much.
I won't lie. I would be entertained by that. More so than the Viking Experience.
I don't know.
The other thing about them is like all of the rumor in the the dirt sheets and everything is that they're at least getting pushed. Like they've got plans for them. So you know what? Whatever they call them, if they treat them like a legit threatening tag team, cool, fine. Call them whatever you want, as long as they're getting their what they deserve, kind of.
Well, not whatever they want. He's gonna throw out the weirdest names.
Yeah.
He's gonna go, you know what? We're going back to Viking Experience.
There was a rumor that he wanted to call him the Berserker, which I think would have been the best case scenario. How awesome would that have been? The Berserkers.
Yeah, but apparently, apparently it was the other. What's the other guy that was also called the
John Nord?
Yeah.
Yeah, like apparently that was the only reason they didn't do it. But I'm like, yeah, Berserker, freaking everybody thinks of Clerks.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. By the way,
I don't know what you're talking about. I only watch family-friendly movies, and I am unfamiliar with this Clerks of which you speak.
Right, I watch Clerks with my family. That's why they don't speak to me anymore.
Well,
I wasn't even supposed to be here.
37.
Bro.
By the way, did they just like completely take Heavy Machinery's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like completely.
You know what would make it okay though is if, as long as Otis gets to be on TV, I don't even care what he does. Just Otis doing things on TV makes me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're taking their TV time.
Yeah,
the
that's
TV
true.
time was
with Eric Young and
supposed to be
catering.
Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, Heavy Machinery was on like several weeks in a row before your Viking Warrior Experience machine, whatever, showed up. And now that you mention that, I haven't. No one's seen neither hide nor hair of Machinery.
Wow.
For shame.
All right, I take back what I said about the Viking Raiders getting a push. I hope they get buried and Heavy Machinery come.
Well, they're on different shows now, so they can both be pushed concurrently.
I'll never
in
have
theory.
Yeah, in theory.
I mean, we haven't even really seen our SmackDown Tag Team Champions outside of a really brief vignette, so there's that.
Well, that actually leads into an interesting topic that I don't even think we talked about before we started. But Jeff Hardy also rumored to be injured, and I can tell you firsthand, live on the scene in Madison last Saturday, Jeff Hardy was limping considerably the whole way down to the ring and didn't do much in the match. And everyone walking back from the match was also limping noticeably. So maybe he's injured. I don't know, but he was limping.
He is, at least as far as ring years and taking bumps, he is a guy. He's got to be 90 years old in the
Oh yeah, now. He's at least 90 in wrestling years.
Yeah, for sure. His body is the fact that he's still going, and obviously he's not doing the same crazy crap he used to do. But there's some times where like I forgot when was the last time he got up on top of a ladder and jumped off, but like
WrestleMania 33.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure if they told him like, hey, you're gonna be working with ladders, he's gonna be like, I'm jumping off that.
Do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with the SmackDown tag titles. Because I mean, if he's actually hurt, they're gonna have to get him off of the Hardy Boys forthwith.
Yeah, and then Heavy Machinery can have their day in the sun, hopefully.
No, who else is a tag team on SmackDown?
I was gonna say the Usos, but they're not on SmackDown anymore, and the Bar got.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too. I love both those guys. I mean, Sheamus, the only reason I think he's lasted this long is because of his partnership with Cesaro, because he's had so many nagging injuries, and he's another guy that's like 43. He's at least a little up there in wrestling.
And as far as I know, he's been out
for a while. So. Yeah, and so Cesaro getting a chance to strike out renewed as a singles competitor, I think, is great for him.
And he's got a win too, right?
I freaking hope so.
Yeah,
he did. He picked up a win.
Oh, he got a win.
Yeah.
You said he's getting. I hope. Never mind.
Sorry. For my memory, did he finish his match, with his uppercut?
Yep, he did.
Good.
Yeah. That a boy.
Good stuff.
It's a devastating move.
It is.
All right. Speaking of the Superstar, Fox decided to ask for Hispanics or Latinos, whatever you want to call them, to go back to SmackDown Live for when.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
I can. I totally can. But no, we're gonna stay on topic.
Fox rounds up Latinos.
Oh man!
Wait, exactly.
Vince totally wrote.
One thing I do want to ask: do you guys, because Ray's on Raw, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you think they asked for Ray and they're like, no, we'll give you Andrade?
I don't know if they're smart. They would have asked for Andrade because Ray's kind of the past. Andrade is the future.
But like, I also
there's the name value thing to those.
Exactly. Not only name, that freaking mask. Like, if you go to any swap meet here, and there's usually like that one or two like little shop that has wrestling, you're gonna see Rey Mysterio's mask in like 15 different colors.
100% of the time, you'll always see Mysterio's mask.
Exactly. Like, so I don't know if they asked for Ray and then Vince is like, no, we'll give you Andrade, which is great for Andrade because I would love to see I would like to see how he continues on SmackDown Live, especially with the whole him beating Finn Balor before he left Raw.
Although he lost to the Balor Bulge on SmackDown, so there's that.
Damn it!
But in the end, doesn't everybody lose to the Balor Bulge?
By inches.
What was that? Oh man, I completely forgot what I was saying because of your comment. Anyways, that's what I think. Like, maybe they asked for Ray and they told him no, we're giving you Andrade and Selena Vega, which makes sense.
Yeah, and there's also the whole the whole I've rumor I'd seen, which I don't believe, that Charlotte supposedly complained about how she and Andrade got split up. So people are saying that's why Andrade got sent over instead of Ray, which I don't know. I'm still not sure I buy that.
I'd believe that though, with Charlotte having the clout with Vince that she does.
Yeah. Now, in character, if Andrade and Charlotte were linked in character, I would 100% believe it, because in character, she's this entitled word I'm not allowed to say, so
Yeah.
it would make sense.
Who else got sent over other than Andrade?
Aleister Black.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And I think Black only got sent over because he's
Zelina
actually
Vega?
married to Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
And she got sent.
Oh, and then Jinder Mahal for some reason.
And the crowd went mild.
Yeah.
And the crowd died.
Yeah, but then Lars Sullivan attacked him, and I was like, wait, he's face now? And killing Jinder is a good way to turn babyface in my books.
Heavy Machinery is on SmackDown.
Yeah, I was just about to weigh in because I was looking at the list of the SmackDown talent. You got Heavy Machinery. You've got the Good Brothers for however long they stick around. The Hardy Boys and the Cologne.
Have they shown up on TV? The Good Brothers?
They were in that 18-person match that didn't have an ending, and I think that's about it.
How long ago was that?
That was the week before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they're still off TV, because the last thing is they said they didn't want to resign. I think they've dropped to house shows only.
I thought they were from house shows too.
Well, the one I was at was a SmackDown show, and they weren't.
Yeah.
SmackDown also has Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, which I guess is technically still a tag.
Are those the only tag teams? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's the Heavy Machinery, the Good Brothers, New Day and Hardy Boys, the Colognes, and Nakamura.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a real deep division.
and the New Day once Big E comes back.
I mean, Kofi and Xavier could defend the title.
Xavier's dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got murder death.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh man, the way you said that, Xavier's dead.
They're just very matter of fact. That was beautiful.
The hardest part of the thing.
Viking Experience, Superstar Shakeup, Sasha Banks, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and then what else have we talked about? We talked about KO for a little bit. I think that's about it for this week, you guys.
Yeah. Should we get to that massive list of questions we got from the Superstar?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Superstar mailbag experience.
It's the mailbag FunHouse.
Let's reach into that mailbag.
It's mail time.
People think, what's that? Blues Clues. Okay.
Yep.
So, Prima asks, what do you think about Wyatt's new gimmick? We kind of touched on that already.
Yeah.
And who do you want to see feuding with him first?
That I hadn't thought of.
That's hard to say too, because we don't know exactly. I mean, I assume he's coming out on Raw. That's what he's listed at on the Wikipedia. But since the vignette aired on both shows, he could, show up in either spot.
In other words, they don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. To be perfectly honest, I would be content with just the vignettes for a few more weeks and let the character really develop through those before you start to actually put him in a program with somebody. But I think
good idea.
Yeah, I think just going right off the top of the head, you know what I would like to see, because he's going to lose the program, right? Like, we can agree on that. Whoever he gets put in the field, or do you think they're actually going to get behind him this time?
I think they'll let him win his first program just to make us think they're getting behind.
Okay, because I wouldn't mind. What I want to see him work. I want to see him work with somebody who is exactly the opposite of this character, And to me, that person would be Cesaro. And I think they could have some pretty good matches, but I also don't want him to lose his first program. And I don't want Cesaro to get into a feud and lose right away. So Cesaro wouldn't be my first choice, but I would like to see them get there eventually.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. Here's my idea. I want to see him feud with Bray or with the Baron Corbin over who dresses least like a wrestler.
Oh yeah, you'd have the Firefly Funhouse versus the Happy Hour at Apple.
Exactly.
Did he leave?
He works at multiple places.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I question, Peter. You mentioned they have Bray listed as a superstar on Raw, at least for now. Is that what?
I think.
Yeah, that's what I saw on the WWE
Bray Wyatt.
website.
I'm not on the WWE website though. I'm on the Wikipedia list of WWE personnel because wrestling fans are very dependable in updating the Wikipedia anytime something happens. And he's still listed as Raw talent.
Yeah, because they ran the
doesn't automatically mean
on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as who he feuds with, I agree that he needs to let those vignettes go and kind of build that character.
Mm-hmm.
We see him. I do see him, or I at least I would like to be in a feud with Aleister Black. I could see as someone that could kind of bring out that occult figure of Wyatt, maybe eventually throughout their feud, and someone that kind of mirrors that kind of dark side and dark imagery that Wyatt. I mean, I guess.
And is still there under the surface.
Exactly. So I think that could be brought out more and more and further down in their feud. That so I could see them, or at least I would like to see.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that big time now.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay.
And you never know. Maybe that turns into them being their own tag team on Smack.
Hey, you know what? It worked for Cesaro and Sheamus. They had a long feud against each other. And I vividly remember thinking, we have to watch 7 of these matches.
And then, 8 actually?
But then by the end of that 7th match, me and everyone in the live crowd were just like, this is awesome. Yeah. They should fight forever. And it worked out. So, hey, who knows? Maybe you get a repeat of that.
Was that when he's all like, you know what, I'm putting you guys in a tag?
Yeah,
I think so, because that was when
Mick
Foley was in charge. Yeah,
dude,
because they had the best of 7 and
more than that time.
And yet it worked out so well, and yet it worked out much better than we expected.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for the question, Prima Day.
Yeah. Once again, Brian Smith with another question. I know GRJ and El Editor watch New Japan, but what other promotion or indies do you guys follow, and who is your favorite non-WWE wrestler?
That is such a Habes question.
I deeply follow WCW, as you all know.
What do you mean you deeply follow WCW? Why don't you tell us more?
Yeah, it's this little thing called the Vintage Intern Review that I put up on Patreon for patrons only, where I review old Raw, old Nitros, old pay-per-views, and Clash of Champions. Basically, I get to watch a lot of terrible wrestling content that is terrible for all the right reasons, as well as a lot of awesome content that is good for all the right reasons, and review it for you guys.
Beautiful.
All right.
But yeah, no. Right now, outside of the WWE, New Japan is pretty much my big jam, as well as MLW.
MLW is my go-to. There was a time when Ring of Honor, but it's gotten so bad lately that it's like, what happened? Like, you've got all the money in the world with Sinclair, and this is what you got. All right, MLW it is.
Yeah. I watch some AAA occasionally, but not nearly as much as I should. And Lucha Underground was my favorite, not even a wrestling show, it was my favorite TV show for quite a while, but season 4 was kind of
Yeah. Yeah, me and Argyle went to, I think, like 2 recordings of season 4, and I don't think I've even watched.
Yeah.
I watched the episodes that came out.
They basically tried to go a more sports entertainment route. I'm not just saying that because Jake Hager wound up winning their title. Even it's just there's a lot of like WWE tropes being thrown into their matches, a lot more distraction finishes, and the kind of crap that I didn't want in my Lucha Underground because it's an alternative to the WWE for me.
Does NXT count as non-WWE?
No,
it's still under the WWE umbrella.
If you watch Takeover, it's pretty non-WWE.
Yeah,
it definitely has
the
NXT has the feel of non-WWE, but I don't think you can officially count it as such.
Takeover's night and day with the WWE product.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a no. Outside, what was the question? Who's also our favorite talent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your promotions? And who is your favorite non-WWE wrestler?
Yeah, when we were going to Lucha Underground, I was a huge fan of Gone. Even now, to this day, Brian Cage has always been one of my favorites outside of WWE. He's been somebody that I've been waiting for NXT to sign for years, and cross my fingers, still hoping that happens one day. But yeah, kind of their whole crew there with like Cage, Johnny, whatever promotion he wants to be in.
Johnny, whatever ring he's in at the time.
Exactly.
I call him Johnny Valkyrie.
I was just about to say Taya too. I've got a huge opinion of Taya being one of the best wrestlers in the world.
For sure.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, huge fan of that gang right there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, Pentagon Junior's long been like pretty much my second favorite in the whole wrestler in the whole planet, regardless, and he's still up there.
Yeah, you took that one right out of my head because I was gonna say Pentagon and Rafe.
Yeah,
the working together are just so good. So against literally anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, also someone I was a huge fan of in Lucha Underground, I believe went by the name Exolicious.
Exolicious. It's Sunny Kiss.
Yes, that's it.
Is signed by AEW.
Yes. So look out for that. For you guys familiar with Sunny Kiss, when that T-shirt company finally gets a show, look out for Sunny Kiss. That was a talent I think none of us were really that familiar with, but man, I think what me and GRJ here we held it down as being the official fan club of Exolicious at the time.
Oh yeah,
that section of the crowd. We held it down.
Yes, Sunny Kiss, pretty somebody to look out. I'm pretty sure she's gonna get so much hate.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I've already seen plenty of hate from WWE fanboys that claim to hate the independent scene, but all they do is talk, usually derisively, and it's just like, wow, you guys should just shut up and stop talking about it. Maybe stop letting it have so much power over you. But anyway,
well, that's the same thing as all the people who claim to hate WWE and like I only watch indies, but yet here you are commenting on all of the WWE posts and all this. You guys, it's all wrestling. Can't we all just get along, right? We all love wrestling. It's just who cares? Different flavors for different people, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, one more thing on Sunny Kiss, if for those that aren't familiar, and if you guys thought that Velvet was something, you're in for a treat. Sunny Kiss is pretty.
And came out and did Exolicious before Velvet.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have me sold. I'm curious. I've never seen this person you're talking about, but I am interested.
A lot more flamboyant. Yeah, it's
basically if Velveteen Dream were an exotic.
It's the Exolicious experience. You got
it's great.
I think you mean Exolicious.
Yes.
Exolicious machine.
Are any of you guys a fan of Nick Aldis?
Yeah,
yes.
Nick Aldis is good.
Yeah,
no.
I'm high on that guy, man.
I'm not.
You mean Mr. Mickey J?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
Nicky Aldis. Yeah.
Who sent us that question? Who was that question from?
That was Brent.
Ah, the myth.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite non-WWE wrestler?
Oh, I was all set with Pentagon and Ray Phoenix, but as long as I'm on the MLW, I not so much in the ring, but as a character, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think MJF is one of the best heels in the business, just on account of how good he is at making people like myself want to punch him in the face as
Yes.
hard as humanly possible.
Even Jim
So, give
Cornette's
him
been
credit
impressed
for
with his
that.
heel work.
Yeah, if you can impress Jim Cornette, then you've done something right.
Yeah. Intern? Did you say your favorite non-WWE?
Yeah, mine's definitely a Pentagon
Oh,
Junior.
yeah. Okay. A lot of Pentagon love. I love it. Shoot. For me, I think right now it has been for a couple years. It's got to be Naito from New Japan.
Naito's so good.
Yeah, that guy. And right now he finished up. He did lose the title to
Kota Ibushi.
yeah, Kota Ibushi. In a crazy match. This guy just works well with anything, with anybody. But if anybody's up there with him right now, it's probably Jay White. The way he just been working with everybody.
Jay White has come such a long way in just little over 1 year. It's
Yeah, I thought it was great. I honestly do feel though that with Kenny Omega leaving, that pushed him into his because it I forgot which pay-per-view they had. Where he lost the title? That was originally when Omega was supposed to lose his
that's right.
back to him, and that's what ended up happening. So even though he held it for a while, he does have wins over freaking Tanahashi, Okada, even Naito. I think he has a title win over, or has a So he's been doing great.
I tell you, if the WWE doesn't scoop him up when his contract is up, there's something wrong. That guy's meant for main. Well, yeah, there's always that factor.
He started off. Yeah, he started off as a young, and then he went to and then I think he even did Excursion. I forgot where they sent him. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, I don't think he wants to leave because he started from the bottom up.
I want to say TNA or Ring of Honor, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, after seeing some of the words Tama Tonga's had for Enzo on Twitter, I kind of I gotta think Tama Tonga might be my new favorite wrestler.
Dude, yeah,
I will say he's definitely doing the social media correctly. That's
yes, sir.
He doesn't have.
He's one of Ming's sons. How can he not? How can he not love someone who's fathered by adopted fathered by Haku?
Yeah, he's crazy. The fact that he doesn't have a leash on him, everybody in WWE, it's really helping him, and he knows how to work the system.
Yes, sir.
He's working it very well. I think that's it, you guys. We're gonna close out here.
Yeah, actually, before we close out, I just have one really short quote I want to read for you, GRJ. It's completely for your benefit, and so we can leave with you on a happy note.
Okay.
Charlotte Flair issued this statement earlier to Pro Wrestling Sheet about her engagement to Andrade. Don't believe everything you read online, unless you read that I'm the most decorated women's wrestler ever, because that is fact. No, we are not currently engaged. You have a chance, my friend.
I don't know, man. That sounds like somebody that is engaged would say.
Look at this. We've turned him into a pessimist.
One of us. One of us.
Gooble gobble. Gooble gobble.
All right. Let's get some plugs in here. First of all, thanks whoever's listening. We are on Anchor. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Google Podcasts, Spotify. This is going up also on YouTube. We're on other streaming. You can find us pretty much anywhere. If you're not on a streaming site that we are on, then you're just not trying. We have pro wrestling tees with some pretty cool looking shirts on there. Go check them out. Right now, I think there's a sale going on.
Is it
So you
20%
could get
off?
20% off. Go get that Kayfabe Soup. We have a Patreon. PBR got into that earlier. The fantasy wrestling, the predictions game we're doing every month. Like always, we are on Facebook. We will always stay on, unless Zuckerberg kick us out. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. That's it. That's it for Kayfabe Soup podcast number 8. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.